Hey guys, it's Fred. Thanks for joining me. Have an interesting video here. This is a wild one. This lady's actually fighting to get her job back, and ultimately she gets her job back, if you can believe that. You know, I don't understand. It's not just about firing this officer. Why wasn't this lady was handcuffed? This lady laid on the ground for 26 minutes in the rain, and her pregnant. What was the feds? Was the feds contacted at all? Were they even contacted? And if they were contacted, did they investigate and not charge? Because I found in 40 years of police work that the feds frown on a civil rights violation if the person is handcuffed. Cuffs on, hands off. That's it. Simple as that. If the handcuffs are on them, keep your hands off of them. They're not that big a threat to you. If they kick you, then shackle them. Hog tie them. There's a strap you can put from the handcuffs to the ankles. You can tie them and put them in the car. There's plenty of officers there. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. You guys watch the video and see if you get as angry as I did.
San Antonio police officer caught on camera repeatedly punching a handcuffed pregnant woman in a patrol car.
Now, Officer Elizabeth Montoya is off the job, but she is trying to get back in.
An officer like Elizabeth Montoya should not be on our police force. She shouldn't be on any police force.
The 19's Dylan Collier uncovered this officer's history of violence towards people in custody. A warning, what you're about to see may be disturbing to some viewers. It's tonight's Defenders Report.
On a rainy morning in July 2018, body-worn camera footage shows it doesn't take long for things to escalate between Officer Elizabeth Montoya and suspect Kimberly Esparza, accused by San Antonio police of illegally possessing prescription drugs. Esparza, at the time 6 months pregnant, is briefly put on her stomach on the ground. But then, after being placed in the back of a patrol vehicle, she's on the receiving end of a flurry of punches from Montoya, including 7 to her head. After a barefoot Esparza is put on the ground in a downpour, Montoya claims she reacted after being kicked by the suspect.
I was going to punch her in her side because that's what I normally do.
Termination paperwork for Montoya would later reveal that Esparza was left on the ground for 26 minutes.
It was incredibly disturbing.
Attorney Carolyn Wentland was contacted by a family member shortly after Esparza was charged with assaulting a public servant and resisting arrest, and was appalled by Montoya's actions at the scene.
Hey, I punched you in the face a couple times. I'll do it again, too.
Just your thoughts on an officer, a person sworn and to protect the public, making a comment like that.
I think it is a travesty. No matter what Mrs. Esparza did or didn't do, she does not deserve to be assaulted. She's a human being. She's a tiny human being. At the time, she was a pregnant human being who was handcuffed and defenseless.
Although Wentland was able to get both charges tossed out and the drug possession allegation was rejected at the time of her client's booking, Esparza spent 46 days in jail. Montoya was fired in January 2019 for inhumane treatment of a prisoner and for misusing her body camera during this incident. She appealed and is scheduled to go before an arbitrator early next month. Personnel records show a pattern of Montoya having issues interacting with the public. The same week Montoya was fired, she was suspended 10 days for a separate incident that took place just 6 weeks after the Esparza beating. After encountering people sleeping in a near West Side parking lot, Montoya told one of them, quote, "Pick up all your expletive trash. I don't want to expletive hear it. I'll expletive tase you." Yet another internal SAPD investigation found that in April 2015, Montoya kicked a suspect in his stomach while he was handcuffed and lying on the ground, and was observed putting her foot onto the man's neck. After the department proposed suspending Montoya 10 days, then interim police chief Anthony Trevino reduced it to 5 days.
I think that the fact that Officer Montoya ever became an officer. I'm not sure why she became an officer.
For the defenders,
She's fine. She's faking it.
Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
Months after Esparza was arrested, she delivered a healthy baby girl who is now right around 3 years old. Montoya's union attorney did not respond to a request for an interview for this story. SAPD officials told us Chief William McManus moved swiftly to terminate Montoya after learning of the Esparza allegations. The department criminally investigated Montoya for this incident and the 2015 case and forwarded its findings to the district attorney's office. Montoya was never criminally charged.
Well, should have forwarded them to the FBI. That's a civil rights. When you do somebody like that right there, that's we're supposed to protect and serve. Protect and serve. I'll do it again, she said. It's like us against them. I don't care what she did. Like that lady said, it doesn't matter what she did. Does she deserve punishment? That's what courts do. Courts are supposed to issue the punishment. We don't issue it out on the street. Now, if the person's fighting and they're struggling, you're allowed to use whatever force is necessary to effect the arrest. But once that arrest is made and they're handcuffed and in the car, she went over to the car and beat on her some more. This is an accident looking for a place. This is a liability looking for a department to work for. You've already had that many complaints. Now, I'm not saying officers don't get complaints, guys. I know officers get complaints. There's people that complains over anything or hoping for that if they complain, the charges will be dropped or reduced, and you've got to look at that. But when there's videotape on these officers doing this, and it's your eyes don't lie to you. You're seeing what you see. I seen a guy said earlier on one of the posts and said that a driver had fled from him. He deserved everything. He endangered people's lives when he was fled. He very well could have. I'm sure that it probably did happen, as did the officers for chasing him rather than getting a tag number and picking them up later. You know, we endanger people's lives too by giving chase for a minor traffic offense that we could either one kill somebody or ourselves while pursuing. But he said that he endangered a lot of people's lives when he was running from the law. That doesn't give us the right to beat them up when we catch up to them. We're not there to issue punishment. What are we going to do? Beat them up and then take them to jail? If you're going to beat them up, at least beat them up and then say, okay, bud, I'm going to let you go now. Because, you know, years and years ago, I stopped a guy for speeding or reckless driving. It was a simple traffic offense. And I went up there and told him, I said, did you not see those cars coming? Did you not see how fast you were going? Do you not realize how you endangered the public? And I said 3 or 4 things, and he looks at me real calmly. And he says, officer, I'm guilty of what you're saying. And I deserve a ticket. But I don't deserve a ticket and a chewing both. And I said, you're exactly right, sir. Thank you for pointing that out. You've done had the chewing, so be careful and have a good day. And after that, I used that many a times. I'd pull people over and I'd say, tell them who I was, and I'd tell them what I stopped them for, and I'd say, I do 2 things. I write citations or I give lectures. Which one you want? I never had nobody say, write me a citation. They always say, give me the lecture. And people that know me, they say, oh, Lord, they don't know what they're in for. If they knew, they'd probably just say, go ahead and write me a ticket. But I would lecture them because I seen a lot of deaths, especially children, in traffic accidents where people just in a hurry wasn't paying attention, and there's a child that's killed, dead. And it does affect officers. But this right here is uncalled for. This is totally an ego. This is contempt of cop. She should have never been a cop in the first place, and she certainly shouldn't have never been reinstated. They reinstated her, and then I think she went to a different department. She works somewhere else now. So it's sad that we've got. And guys, you know, somebody I seen where somebody said, oh, this is clickbait or whatever it's called. Guys, I don't get paid. my channel's not monetized. I just put these on there to show I show these in hopes that other people, especially officers, will see them and say, hey, well, we got to stay off of that channel. We don't want to be on there. We don't want to, because somebody's got to bring attention to it. If we don't bring attention to it, it's going to continue. And it's getting worse and worse out there. I know some of these are older videos. It's not for the clickbait. It's for the fact that this is behavior that's continuing to go on in our society. I put these on there to show the behavior and how long it's been going on and that it's continuing to go on. And unless we start showing it, share these videos, and let other people see them, let them know there's chance, start you a channel and put them out there and let these other people see. You know, the Attorney General's office needs to start. It can be a 2 or 3 man department, 2 or 3 man crew. And when they get a lot of complaints on an officer, they send an undercover officer out there to either get traffic stopped, to get picked up for shoplifting, jaywalking. I don't care. They go to where that officer's at, and they purposely cause an interaction with that officer to see how they're going to be treated. And while they're taping, or somebody else in another vehicle is watching what's going on from a distance. It got to be a better way. Hey guys, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. You all, hey listen, if you, Sheila's got an interesting video on her channel on a Kentucky State police captain that's charged up in McCoy County with the R word and the SA word. I can't put it on YouTube, so you got to say it like that. But he's charged with some pretty good crimes. He comes up for, we're going to go to court in March on it, and watch the case. But you may want to go over to Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures. Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures. And check some of Sheila's videos out on her channel also. And other than that, we'll catch you later. Hey, please, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Thanks, guys.